where everyone must have known something about it. And it must have been more than an open secret amongst a lot of those celebrities. And
I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
When you're 20, you don't understand these things. So, I think I just would have been more patient.
It seems that embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is selling his LA mansion. Combs is looking to sell the off-market for $70 million.
When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them. Nobody likes them.
What if the glitz and glamour of Hollywood weren't just a facade, but a distraction from something much darker? Behind the bright lights and award shows, insiders like Mel Gibson are speaking out, claiming that the industry is hiding disturbing secrets. But what are those secrets? And why is the world so reluctant to listen? This is the story Hollywood doesn't want you to know. Once the golden boy of Hollywood, Mel Gibson had it all: box office hits, awards, and a career most actors could only dream of. But in the 2000s, his name started fading from the spotlight. Why? According to Gibson, it wasn't just bad press or personal scandals. It was a deliberate attempt by Hollywood elites to silence him for questioning their power. He's not alone in these claims, and as we dive deeper, you'll see why Gibson's warnings about the industry may be more credible than anyone realized. Let's start with the obvious players. Sean Diddy Combs is a name that's been in the headlines for decades, but not always for the reasons you might expect. Recently, allegations against Diddy have resurfaced, raising questions about his connections to underground Hollywood scandals. From rumors of secret tunnels to allegations of freak-offs that cater to the elites, it seems like Diddy's image as a music mogul hides a much darker reality. But he's not the only one, far from it. Take Oprah Winfrey, arguably one of the most influential women in entertainment. Known for her philanthropy and media empire, Oprah has cultivated an image of kindness and generosity. But even she isn't immune to controversy. Over the years, she's faced criticism for her ties to figures like Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced movie producer accused of rampant sexual abuse. Pictures of Oprah and Weinstein at events are hard to ignore. And while she's publicly condemned him, the fact that they were so close before his fall from grace raises eyebrows. Then there's John of God, the so-called faith healer. Oprah featured on her show in 2013. Oprah dedicated an entire episode to this man, claiming he had restored people's faith and performed miracles. But just 5 years later, he was accused of unspeakable crimes, including assaulting over 200 women. Oprah quickly distanced herself, deleting the episode from her platforms, but the damage was done. It makes you wonder, how many of Hollywood's biggest names have skeletons like this in their closets? Now, let's talk about Mel Gibson's fall from grace. While his 2006 DUI arrest and subsequent controversies are well documented, Gibson himself has always maintained that his outspokenness about Hollywood's inner workings played a significant role in his blacklisting. He's described the industry as a weird town, likening it to a place where newcomers are warned not to go near the house on the hill. Back then, these statements sounded like paranoia. But now, with the revelations that have come to light in recent years, they seem less like the ramblings of a troubled actor and more like a warning we should have heeded. Gibson's discomfort with Hollywood isn't just personal, it's deeply ideological. He's spoken out against what he sees as the industry's lack of moral compass, criticizing its culture of exploitation and secrecy. And this is where Sound of Freedom comes into play. The 2023 film, based on the true story of former Homeland Security agent Tim Ballard, exposes the horrifying realities of child trafficking and abuse. Ballard's mission to rescue children from these atrocities is a brutal reminder of the real-world issues often overshadowed by Hollywood's glitzy distractions. But here's where it gets even more troubling: Hollywood's reaction to the film. Sound of Freedom received little to no promotion from the industry. It was given a limited release and virtually no media coverage. Disney, which initially held the rights to the film, mysteriously dropped the project at the last minute. The question is, why? Why would a story with such a powerful message be sidelined by an industry that loves to tout its progressive values?
You have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken that you are going to be fucked over at some point by people who you may have done something nice for.
Mel Gibson, a vocal supporter of the film, has his own theories. He believes the lack of attention isn't accidental, it's intentional. According to Gibson, Sound of Freedom touches on topics that many in Hollywood would prefer to keep buried. Child trafficking, abuse, and exploitation are issues that don't align with the industry's carefully curated image. And if even half of what Gibson says is true, it's easy to see why the elites would want this film to disappear. Let's not forget how often these scandals seem to resurface in Hollywood. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein. The endless rumors about underground parties, secret societies, and freak-offs involving some of the most powerful people in the world. Time and again, we see the same names, the same patterns. It's no wonder Gibson wanted to distance himself from the industry. But here's the thing, this isn't just about Mel Gibson. It's about an entire system that thrives on power, secrecy, and control. Think about the #MeToo movement. When it first broke, it felt like a turning point, with both men and women exposing Hollywood big shots for their misconduct. But even then, it was just the tip of the iceberg. For every story that came to light, how many more were swept under the rug? And let's not ignore Oprah's South African school scandal. What was meant to be a safe haven for underprivileged girls became a nightmare when multiple cases of sexual abuse were reported. While Oprah publicly condemned these incidents and vowed to do better, the fact remains, the pattern is undeniable. From Weinstein to Diddy to John of God, the connections are too frequent to be mere coincidence. So, what does this all mean for Hollywood? Are we witnessing the slow unraveling of an empire, or is the industry simply too big to fail? With each new scandal, the cracks grow wider. Yet, for every moment of accountability, there's another cover-up. The elites remain protected, their power intact. The question now is, what do we do with this information? Do we dismiss it as conspiracy theories, or do we start asking the hard questions? Mel Gibson's career may never recover, but his willingness to speak out has opened a door we can't close. And films like Sound of Freedom are forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truths we've ignored for too long. One thing is certain, this isn't the end of the story. As more people like Gibson step forward, the facade of Hollywood's perfection continues to crumble. And maybe, just maybe, we're finally ready to see what lies beneath. What do you think? Is this all just sensationalism, or is there truth to the claims about Hollywood's dark side? Let us know in the comments below.